Dear ethical vegans, you are 100% correct in everything that you're saying. However, when you call out health vegans or environmental vegans, this is not exactly helpful. So once upon a time in 2014, the world was run by influencers. I mean, they still kind of do, but it was to an exceptional level in 2014, right? And I was not interested in veganism whatsoever. I wasn't even interested in eating plant-based. I was interested in cycling. And because I was interested in cycling, I stumbled across a YouTube account by the name of Durian Rider, which is not without controversy, and this is not a recommendation or anything like that, but stumbled across his account, and he talked about cycling, and I was interested in it, and he kind of threw in some little tidbits about like eating plant-based, and I was like, okay, yeah, like what he's saying kind of makes sense, and even a little bit about animal rights, but I was mostly cycling, then okay, the plant-based thing's interesting to me. So I decided to try a plant-based diet for the first time. This is 11 years ago, entirely for health reasons. And at the time, I was in bad shape, right? So I had type 2 diabetes, I had high blood pressure, sleep apnea, I also got kidney stones from time to time, and all those issues resolved in a remarkable amount of time, like only a couple of months. And I felt like I hit the reset button on my life. I felt so good. I was so passionate about the way I was eating and how it made me feel. So I'd been eating this way for about a year, and I worked with this guy who he and his wife actually owned the local vegan restaurant, right? And so he was vegan entirely for just the morals and the ethics because it's a justice movement, not a diet, like that kind of thing. And we were chatting in the back room one day, and he was like, hey, I know you're like eating like vegan, but is it entirely for like health reasons? Have you looked at the animal rights side of things? And I told him, no, it's really just like a health thing, right? And he was like, okay, I'm going to send you this video. I want you to check it out. And it's like, you're already eating this way, and it's doing all these wonderful things for your health, but like, think about all of the good that you're also doing for the animals. This is just going to underline what you're already doing. And I was like, okay, I'll check it out. And the video that he sent was the Gary Yourofsky, the most important speech you'll ever hear, right? And it actually was so influential. I'd never really thought about it from those terms before that I went out and actually got my vegan tattoo. And that's when I knew that this was for life. Because it wasn't just about my personal health anymore, although I do eat the way that I do even today because my health is important, but it wasn't just about that. I was aware of this massive injustice and I didn't want to take part in it anymore. And it reminds me actually a lot of this like old social media video that I found scrolling one day. And it's this guy and he said there's these magic glasses that exist in the universe. And when you put them on, you see the world for exactly how it is. All the beautiful parts become profoundly more beautiful. And all of the dark parts, you see them for exactly what they are. And there are rules to the magic glasses. And the rules are that once you put them on, you can never take them off. And you can't force anyone else to wear them. Now, here's the part of the conversation that's super nuanced, which is that health vegans have been labeled by the vegan community as just notoriously wishy-washy, and for a good reason, right? I mean, I started veganism back in 2014 in the height of like influencer culture, right? And they are notoriously wishy-washy. They will jump on the vegan diet when it's trendy, and they will jump off as soon as it is not. They treat it like a cleanse. That's frustrating to look at, right? However, we can't pretend like the health vegans are the only ones that have jumped off the vegan train. Moral and ethical vegans have also done that, including the same guy who brought me into the moral and ethical vegan diet. That's right, the guy that owned the vegan restaurant with his wife. I saw him years later and he was no longer vegan. This also happens. And in my experience, when people jump ship on the vegan diet, when they've been doing it for moral and ethical reasons, typically it's because they believe incorrectly that there is something that they fundamentally are not getting from the plant-based diet that they need to get it from animal sources. And so there's this imaginary crossroads that they come up to, and they have to make a choice. I can either keep my health and start eating animals, or I can do what's right for animal rights. And if that was you and you came up to this, intersection, like, what would you choose? Like, put yourself in their shoes. Thankfully, this is a mirage and it's not a real crossroads, because with just a little bit of supplementation and a little bit of planning, you can sustain a vegan diet in the long term. And in fact, most of the vegans that I've known that have been able to do it long term have all been health vegans, and they do it for their health and for the animals and also for the environment. The health vegans can teach us something. In my frustration when people say things like there's no such thing as an ex-vegan, it's like something gets subtly caught and taught in there and we need to be aware of it, which is you're kind of saying you weren't strong enough to sacrifice your health for the animals. That's how it's being received, because when you zoom out and you look at the conversation outside of like the vegan circles about veganism, there's a lot of people that are saying like, look, if you want to do veganism for the animals, like, I guess that makes sense and you can do that, but I don't want to sacrifice my health. And a lot of vegans' response to that is it's not about health. Do you see why my brain explodes when I hear that? Because in my experience, after reversing type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, sleep apnea, kidney stone issues, like, this diet with this much planning and attention to detail is the most health promoting, is the best for the environment and the animals. We can't let the conversation be commandeered. Okay, I'll go. Please subscribe.